Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Schoen and this is my design activity 2. I created this activity within Slideshow just to organize my thoughts as well as visually show you all my main points. So for my educational problems, I considered current problems within education right now. So of course, the first thing that popped into my head was the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's affected our students and families at home. So I really thought about closing in on that gap that has been created from schools being shut down, online learning, just that disconnect between kids and schooling. So with that being said, with the pandemic, schooling is really difficult for students to be prepared or to be on level for where they should be. So I teach kindergarten. So personally, I have seen the effects of how kids have not been in preschool or daycare structured situations due to the pandemic. And then I'm also able to see once they leave me the effects and difficulties that they have later on with as they go through school. So I just really wanted to focus in on creating an at-home resource and assistance for parents and for students, a resource that is really personalized and has specific goals for students, and it's easy to use for everyone. So the technologies that I'm going to be learning about this semester and that I hope to use to support my prototype is HTML, CSS, those type of web-based creators. I also am going to be learning about Adobe Illustrator, so I'm hoping to use that in a few different ways within this prototype. And lastly, I'll be learning about flipped classroom, which I'm very excited about, and I think will really help my prototype overall, as it includes instructional videos, things like that that I could use to plug into my prototype resource. So my prototype thoughts, my initial thought was just I wanted to create something useful for educators. So for me personally, like I said, I consider myself as well as my coworkers and their experiences and what we could do and what I could create to support students. So my initial thought, I really considered social emotional learning because that is a huge struggle for students right now, especially with quarantining, all of that. And I have seen the effect that it has had on our students. But with social emotional learning, I felt that it was really difficult to focus in on one goal and how to make sure that everyone is reached and what kind of sources I wanted to use and would it just be plugging in other sources. So I backed away from that idea. So then I really thought of the other huge effect that it's had on our students, which is just closing the gap. I want to provide a prototype that's a website where you can click into your teacher's name and possibly a group if you wanted that personalized. And then I personally, as a teacher, can add in specific worksheets that I want them to practice on, videos, things like that, just review to support those who need it. So different types of intervention that they can use at home. And then also even providing enrichment for those who need to be challenged. So this way, kids are able to have a focused goal and work towards that. And then there is no misunderstanding between teachers and parents. You are giving specific resources for them to use at home, whether it's a website to work on or a specific page to print out or do on their iPad, things like that. And just a resource that is always available for families to use at home to support that at home learning while being in this crazy time. So right now, that is my initial thought that I would like to create and that I'm going with for my prototype.